Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Thursday. It's May 16th. It is 2024. We have a 5-game MLB slate here on today's podcast. Riding solo today, smaller slate. Tim wasn't feeling well, so we're going to give him the night off. And I'm going to use Plate IQ. If you're hanging out on YouTube or if you want to see the slate broken down with Plate IQ, then feel free to go on to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind YouTube page, and you can watch this back. It will be up all day. If you enjoy these shows, make sure you comment below on the YouTube page and like the video. We appreciate that. What's up, YouTube chat? Yeezy, Dave, LSU for life. It pains me to say that. Derek, Gator Nation. See, that's better. Gator Nation. Way better than saying LSU for life. Sorry, LSU for life. We got an interesting 5-gamer pitching. Very, very interesting on this slate. But yeah, I mean, overall, a lot of bats. A lot of bats to talk about. On this smaller slate. So gonna do that. And we're going to use Plate IQ. And I'm going to show you how I use Plate IQ when it's not like fully updated yet, like for the night before stuff. So, Dean was like, hey, Stevie has tricks. Well, usually I'll have 2 Plate IQs up when I don't have like a full thing. But if you are like researching the night before, trying to get a head start, usually it's like getting a head start on like some props and stuff that you might like, and not like fully breaking it down for DFS like we do, but just going to kind of show you how I'll use like Plate IQ when like not all the teams line up. Like these first couple games, Tampa and Boston and New York and Philadelphia, they line up, but like I'll show you what I'm talking about, like with Pittsburgh, Chicago, and then like the Cincinnati, LA Dodgers game. So hope everyone's having a fantastic night, and let's jump in, have some fun, and talk some baseball. If you have any questions or anything you want to answer me or me to answer while I'm going, pretty laid back show today. Just going to chill. Midnight here on the East Coast, was working on some stuff for NASCAR and kind of lost track of time a little bit, but happens to the best of us. Yes. How about them Brewers? I had a fantastic early slate on Wednesday because of the Brewers, and then Houston and Texas let me down on the late slate, but made enough in the early slate to definitely cover the losses on the late slate. So happens sometimes. We got Mets and Phillies, 8.5 total. Phillies a 142 favorite. Jose Quintana, Tajon Walker facing off in this one. Jose Quintana. So I mean, we just saw lefty Jose or Joey Lucchesi pitch against Philadelphia, so I expect the lineup to be very close to the same that we saw yesterday. For Philadelphia, Jose Quintana really struggling to miss bats this year. We can kind of see here on Plate IQ, 15% strikeout rate, 350 WOBA, hard hits at 55% for Jose Quintana this year. He's generating ground balls, but still he's getting hit so hard. His swinging strikes are way down from last year, 9% last year, 6.9%. Nice. This year, and his whiff rate almost around 16%, where it was almost 20% last year. So again, just one of those things where you're looking at it and you're like, all right, Jose Quintana is really struggling right now. I don't want to play him today. I think that this Philadelphia lineup is very good, so I don't want to play him in this spot. And then going to the other side of this one, we got Tajon Walker against the Mets. I mean, this game's in Philadelphia. It's not like this game is in Citi Field. But again, we get another low strikeout pitcher, 19.2% Ks, 211 ISO, 375 WOBA. Doesn't walk people, but really just doesn't generate whiffs. And that's hard. That's part of, getting it done here as far as pitching. So Tajon Walker's cheap at 6,300. The Mets aren't like this scary offense. If you're running 150, you probably end up with a little bit of Tajon Walker today, just because like there's not a lot of options on this slate just in general. He's nowhere near like a top option for me. I think I would prefer Cooper Criswell over Walker. Yeah, I definitely think I would Criswell over Walker, and then potentially like taking a shot on like a Christian Javier who is coming off of a just awful start against Detroit. So let's talk bats. Bats are where it's a lot more interesting here. Tajon Walker, bad to both sides of the plate, really struggles with lefties. Obviously, Brendan Nimmo having a fantastic season against right-handed pitching. Francisco Lindor started the season kind of slow, but he's gotten it going. Pete Alonso, kind of looking at like who potentially cracks the lineup here for the Mets. DJ Stewart, we talk about him all the time. 234 ISO against right-handed pitching this season, 372 WOBA. He should crack the lineup here in this one. So I, definitely interested in playing a little bit of him. And then like if you want like a cheap bat, Jeff McNeil is someone that I don't mind, taking some shots on. He just doesn't have a lot of power, so I don't play him a ton, but definitely a ballpark upgrade for this team. And then Beatty should be in there as well if you want another cheap, potential lefty that is okay, not great by any means. The other side of this one, again, Jose Quintana really struggling to miss bats. Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto, Sosa. We keep pounding Sosa against these lefties, and he is still like 3K. No one likes playing Sosa, and I mean, I just keep playing this guy against left-handed pitching. He had 2 hits against, or 2 hits in the game on Thursday, and just keeps getting it done for us. So I'm going to keep playing Sosa. I think he's a phenomenal play in this one. And I mean, again, I hope that he just kind of keeps getting overlooked here. But yeah, JT Realmuto, if you want to pay up for a catcher spot, I don't hate it. Schwarber or Harper in a stack if you want to go lefty. I think that's fine. Boehm's probably my favorite bat from this one. He's having I know he's super expensive, but he's just having a season here. Maybe they give like Schwarber a day off here or Harper a day off, and like we get like a Whit Merrifield bat and lead off at that, like cheap spot here for Whit Merrifield. Get a little bit of home run power out of Christian Pache. Like he's a guy that has some home run power. I know it hasn't translated a ton, but I think that he's another guy at 2,200. If he cracks the lineup again, you could take some shots on him. But yeah, I mean, Philadelphia very much in play here as a full stack for me. Up next, we got Tampa Bay at Boston. 8.5 total in this game. Pick'em game. Zach Little against Cooper Criswell. Starting here with Zach Little. They're on the road. I had it right and I still messed it up. Bradley was a little disappointing on Thursday's late slate, but like it didn't matter for me. I had so much Houston and Texas that it really just didn't matter what my pitching did. Like it just at the end of the day didn't matter. So I don't care that much. But as far as Little goes, obviously Zach Little has been a guy this season that like has been hit or miss. He doesn't pitch like super deep into games. Like it seems like he's 6 innings at like a cap, like a max here. Like we've seen him throw low 90s, high 80s and get capped at 6 innings. So like ceiling wise, I don't think he goes over that. He's 8,400. He's facing the Red Sox. There's strikeouts in this lineup. The top half of this lineup, very good against right-handed pitching. Abreu, Wong, Devers, O'Neill, Duran. Bottom half of this lineup, just awful. The Red Sox just are missing out on the bottom half of this lineup. So I don't mind getting some exposure to Zach Little today. And then on the other side of this game, Cooper Criswell, like he has decent strikeout stuff. He doesn't typically walk a lot of people. This lineup's hit or miss, just in general. So when looking at cheap pitching options on the slate, I definitely think Cooper Criswell is in play. He scored at least 18 DraftKings points in 3 of his last 4 starts. The strikeouts have bounced back a little bit here. So again, I mean, looking at his strikeout stuff, 24.8%. You're worried about this stuff, right? You're worried about the whiff rate being 17%. You're worried about the swinging strike rate being 17.5%. So that's the concerning stuff that you think there's going to be a little bit of regression coming for Cooper Criswell. But when you're looking at this Tampa lineup, I think that on a slate with 5 games and pitching that's very limited, I think you have to have some interest here in this one. As far as the Tampa Bats are concerned, I mean, I keep saying it, like, this lineup's really struggling. This is a great ballpark upgrade for them. So, like, Lowe, a Rosarina, I mean, Paredes for sure in this spot, I think is another guy you could take some shots on. Did they? I was looking to see if. Oh, he is. So they do have Jonathan Aranda in this one. He's 2,800. You got to play him at first base. He's cheap. I mean, he strikeout guy for sure, but he does have some pop. So definitely a guy you could potentially take some shots on here at 28. Yeah, but I think that overall, I don't think you're going to full stack. But if he does hit in that 4-hole like he did on Thursday or Wednesday, I think that you could definitely take some shots on him at 2,800 and, throw a Paredes and a Rosarina around him or something and just hope. Like, Criswell has shown a little bit of reverse splits, so that definitely prefers it definitely shows like a good spot for Paredes. So don't mind that at all. As far as the Boston bats, I mean, it's top half of the lineup, right? If you're attacking Zach Little in this spot, it's Abreu, it's Devers, it's O'Neill, Duran, Dom Smith. Ever since coming to the Red Sox, just no power whatsoever. So definitely not going to take Dom Smith here. But yeah, I mean, Devers, O'Neill, Abreu, Duran, Connor Wong, if he cracks the lineup here. Little's good. I don't think like Little's a guy you typically want to pick on. Like, if this is a 10-game slate, you're probably not playing Red Sox. But the fact that it's a smaller 5-game slate, these guys at the top half of this lineup have some upside. Michael says, nice format showing plate IQ. I need to use this tool more. It is a fantastic tool. I do 70 to 75% of my research on plate IQ. I do use Baseball Savant and FanGraphs still. More Baseball Savant nowadays than FanGraphs. So, yeah, I mean, I love StatCast data. I love looking into pitchers and trying to find out why or why not they're good or not. So, I mean, I spend probably way too much time on Baseball Savant. But, yes, you should use this tool. It's phenomenal. And I think everyone should use it. So what's on the right side? Right here? Is it like this side under Zach Little? What's dead green all the way across? Like, hold on. Let me make it a little bigger. Are you talking about like fantasy points? This would be the fantasy points that they're projected for from Wednesday's slate, not this slate. It will be updated. Like, it gets updated throughout the day. Like, when projections are updated on Lineup HQ, it is updated on Plate IQ as well. Oh, on this side, yeah, walk percentage, walk rate. So yeah, Little doesn't typically walk people. He is very good command pitcher, very good. So yeah, walk rate is what you see here on the right side of Plate IQ. All right. We got Pittsburgh at Chicago. Cubs 7.5 total here. Cubbies a 134 favorite. Jared Jones against Justin Steele. So what I'm going to show you now on Plate IQ is, if you're listening to the podcast form, then it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to show you how I kind of use this tool when I don't have everything updated yet. So there you go. So gonna pull up Jared Jones first. Look at Jared Jones. Obviously, he has been fantastic this season. 30.5 or 30.9% strikeout rate. Backed up though. I mean, this guy has a 33% whiff rate, a 19% swinging strike rate. This dude, it really seems like he's going to be the real deal. Just face this team. I mean, that is the biggest concern for me for Jared Jones. Is his last start 6 days ago was against this team. We all know how I feel about that. It's always tough to face the same team twice. With that said, you have to play the talent today. You have to just play the talent. I have not checked the weather yet for Wrigley, but with the fact that there's a 7.5 total in this game, I assume the weather is not going to be a factor. Quickly pulling it up. Looks like wind blowing across the field at like 6 miles an hour. So should not be an issue. There's some potential rain here, so that could obviously change the slate a lot. But Jared Jones, very much in play. Then kind of going over here to look at the Cubs against right-handed pitching. Top half of this lineup really solid. I mean, obviously, you get some strikeouts with Michael Busch. Suzuki's back, so we get some strikeout upside with him. So you kind of assume that Amaya be back in here, and he hasn't been great against right-handed pitching this season. I just don't think Yan Gomes, either one of those catchers, really struggling against right-handed pitching. So I do, matchup-wise, you got to beat Busch's home run upside. You got to beat Tauchman, Morel, and Bellinger, but like the strikeout upside here for Jones. Now, going to the other side, we're going to look at Justin Steele first. So Justin Steele this season, nowhere near where he was at last year, just in general. And like, he's coming back. He hasn't, obviously hasn't pitched a lot to start the season, and he hasn't thrown over 75 pitches yet. Justin Steele last season, 24.4% Ks, 5% walks, 123 ISO, 240 ISO. He's not fully back yet. He's not fully there. Hard hits way up this season. That's just not generating any whiffs or swinging strikes. We expect that to come around a little bit, but again, this is the same spot, right? This is Justin Steele just facing this team 5 days ago. Justin Steele coming back. He just allowed 6 earned runs, 3 home runs to this team in Pittsburgh. So you're obviously super concerned about that, and you're just worried that like Justin Steele isn't 100% yet. The matchup, we'll go to the matchup side now, right? The Pittsburgh side of this one. They just faced Robert Gasser, so we have a very fresh lineup against left-handed pitching, so it's probably going to be pretty close to this. A lot of strikeouts. I mean, that's the thing that we see, right? McCutchen, big strikeouts. Reynolds, big strikeouts. O'Neal Cruz, big strikeouts. Bart, big strikeout. Taylor, big strikeouts. Trujillo, big strikeouts. So, obviously, like, there is a little bit of upside in this lineup against left-handed pitching, but Justin Steele just doesn't look back yet. If you want to roll the dice and take shots, he's 7,300. It's not like he's super expensive. As far as the bats here for Pittsburgh, very interested in these bats. It's a smaller slate. I expect some runs to be scored in this one. So interested in Reynolds, interested in Joe, interested in Olivares. McCutchen, I always like McCutchen against left-handed pitching. He is getting older. He doesn't have the pop that he once did. He's 4,200. I don't know if I get to a lot of him today, just in general. So you're going to likely get some of these cheap guys. If Bart catches, I don't mind Bart. Usually when Bart hits the ball, it's a home run. I think like he doesn't have a lot of hits on the season. He had a couple hits, and he's actually been hitting the ball pretty well. But yeah, I mean, we could potentially see Henry Davis in there too. Like either one of those catchers, I think is fine. Yeah, I mean, with Hayes being on the IL, I think it's tough. But yeah, some potential here, some definite potential for this team. Why? I'm so curious now. Why Williams did not play on, like why he didn't start against Gasser, but I assume Williams would be in there at 2,700, second base shortstop. And he's actually been decent against lefties in a small sample size this year. And then as far as the Cubs bats against Jared Jones, when he does struggle, it's usually been like with power and home runs. Like he's allowed multiple home runs in 3 of his, I think, 7 starts this year. So like he's a big strikeout guy, but he kind of has some fly ball tendencies. So if I'm attacking him, it's Michael Busch, the home run upside of Michael Busch. It's Christopher Morel, the home run upside. Bellinger, the home run upside. I don't think I would full stack against Jared Jones, even on a small slate. But if I was going to play these guys, it'd be these top end guys: Bellinger, Morel, Busch. I mean, we can look at the advanced stats. Bellinger, a big fly ball guy. Morel actually benefits here from a guy that generates a little bit more fly balls. And Morel has a 56% hard hit rate this season against right-handed pitching. So the upside is definitely here. And Jones, I do think Jones is somewhat popular here. I forgot Henry Davis got sent down. It's Yasmani, right? They got Grandal. Grandal definitely more pop from the left side of the plate. Yeah. So I mean, for me on the Cubs, Morel, Bush, Bellinger, and we move on. We got Oakland at Houston. Framil Valdez got his ground balls going. This game though, 8.5 total. Houston a 210 favorite. Joey Estes against Christian Javier. This is the thing that always tilts me, and I'm actually gonna like not being able to switch the pitcher when there's not a pitcher in the player pool. I'm interested. Did we get it updated yet? No. So I'm gonna go back to Tuesday's slate and go to this Oakland game, so I can go here and I can actually look at Estes a little bit. We saw him a little bit last year. I think he got called up and pitched like 2 starts last year. And then we saw him against Seattle, 5 strikeouts, allowed to earn run, 5 innings, 61 pitches. I don't know if like pitch count is a concern just in general, but I am kind of concerned about like innings for him. They're going to be careful with him. I mean, just in general, like he is one of the prospects in this organization. Like he is top 10 in Oakland's organization as a whole. I mean, from what we've seen in him in AAA is he's going to give up home runs. Last season in AAA, he threw 137 innings and he allowed 24 home runs. He has a huge home run problem just in general. This season, he has made 6 starts and he has thrown 28 innings in AAA and he's allowed 10 home runs. Gosh, I just Houston burned us all. I mean, if you didn't play Houston, congrats. Because I did, and a lot of people did. But Estes has a home run problem. That is not the problem that you want to have against Houston. You can do it against Seattle, but I mean, he even allowed a home run in that game. So not going to play Joey Estes today, and we're definitely going to talk about these Houston bats because of the home run issue. But let's first talk about Christian Javier. He has really, really, really struggled this season. So I am definitely concerned about Christian Javier in general. And here, I'm going to actually try something here. And let's see if this works. Okay, it worked. All right, awesome. So everyone always asks me for me to show like what I'm looking for when I'm looking at like pitching stuff. And let's do it, right? Let's have some fun. So kind of first thing I'm going to kind of look through is like, why is Christian Javier so much worse this year? And, you know, X stats I think are really important with that, but like the walk rate, right? He's bottom 10% in the league in walks. His strikeout rate's way down from last year. And so we're going to like, what is he doing different? Well, first of all, he's throwing his changeup a lot more and throwing his fastball a lot less. And his slider is just kind of dipping off a little bit. So looking at last year compared to this year, his four-seamer was generating just about the same amount of whiffs. And his changeup last year was generating 39% whiffs. This year, using it more, it's generating 28% whiffs. And his slider, kind of in the same range, is not generating anything near what it was last year. But the spin is up. The spin is not anything different than what it was last year for the sliders. So, and then looking at some of the advanced stats, his xWOBA and X slugging and stuff and X batting average against the slider really close in line with last year. So I don't think it's the slider. I don't think it's the fastball. I think him using the changeup more and hitters kind of sitting on it a little bit more is like a big problem from Christian Javier. But I really just at the end of the day think that it is the commands. I mean, if we like start looking into this a little bit more on this, I mean, again, like his hard hit rate on this fastball way up this year. Maybe relying on trying to throw more strikes with it. Like his run value was great with the fastball last year. His run value was great with the fastball in 2022, and it generated more strikeouts in 2022. So kind of looking at that makes me interested in. Oh, I went back. I went the wrong way. But looking at like first pitch strikes, he's way up on first pitch strikes. So like it, just a lot of stuff not making sense with him right now, in general. But I mean, even going here, like 2022, his fastball velocity now has dipped even more. Like where we were just looking at like how good his fastball was in 2022 compared to how good his fastball has been this year. I mean, look at the dip. 1.8 miles an hour is a huge dip in speed. So that obviously is super concerning, just in general. When he was dominant, like he had a 94-mile-an-hour fastball that he was kind of dominant with, but like the strikeout stuff way down. It's down 6.5% from last year. It was down 10% from 2022 to 2023. Really seems like Christian Javier is kind of on the downslide, and that's not what we want to see here from Christian Javier. So, definitely concerned about Christian Javier. Do I like the matchup? Yes. If he's chalky on a small slate, I might stay away from him. Like in a 3-incher max, I might like have a Javier team and then have like an Oakland stack as well. So hopefully that helps. I know I get asked all the time. I mean, there's more to look into. I could spend 15, 20 more minutes looking into stuff, but um, definitely concerned about the fastball from Christian Javier. And we can go like into usage and stuff on Plate IQ and see that like the velo is down, the percentage is down. Just everything with the fastball is the concern. The changeup, when the fastball isn't working as well, the changeup's not working. The slider looks great. Like the slider is still his out pitch. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of concern, especially just absolutely getting hit hard last time out. Definitely going to scare some people off of Christian Javier, but I think there's still some strikeout upside here, especially like with the slider. I think you could definitely take some shots on Christian Javier in tournaments. He struggles with lefty power, so like going to the other side here, I think you could take some shots on Blade. I think you could take some shots on either catcher that cracks the lineup here. I think it's fine. I guess like Langoliers too. I mean, there's technically 3 catchers here. Kyle McCann. Soderstrom, I mean, he's 2,500. If he cracks the lineup at catcher, I would definitely be interested in playing him a little bit here. I feel like they missing some of their lefties. I know Seth Brown is really off to a slow start, but he's still 2,800. They have been giving him some like days off here, so he might not even be in the lineup. You can play 2 catchers on FanDuel, but I highly suggest you don't. And you can on technically you can on DK today because Soderstrom Strum is first base eligible, but I don't know if you necessarily use him at first base. Yeah, if Christian Javier gets some ownership, you definitely want to attack him with lefties. Like again, that's where he's really struggled looking at plate IQ. His walk rate way higher than his strikeout rate. 268 ISO, 404 WOBA. He's still been really competent against righties, so I think like that's where the slider comes in. Christian Javier, 7 or more strikeouts plus 145. Good bet or no? I don't think I would make that bet personally. He hasn't topped 7 strikeouts yet this season. He hasn't had like great strikeout matchups either, but he's had like right-handed heavy teams. Like he faced Toronto. They're a very right-handed heavy team. So I don't think I would bet that for what it's worth. Hopefully, I mean, I think I'd need it to be like 5.5 before I'd be interested. I don't even know if I'd be interested at 5.5. So if that helps you, I mean, you could do a blender and bet whoever you want, but I don't. It's not something that I would do. And that I think that's kind of what you're asking. Anyway, the other side, the Estes side, again, like the home runs in AAA and what we've seen so far from him in the majors, it's really hard not to have interest in stacking Houston here. I think that they're one of the top stacks on the slate. We're going to talk about the Dodgers against Nick Martinez. The Dodgers by far the top stack on the slate, but I think Houston's up there with them. I mean, with pitching just in general, I think like you're gonna try to fit in as much Houston in LA as possible on the slate, and just kind of let pitching fall how it falls. But there's a guy. There's a guy. Let's talk about that guy. Last game, Cincinnati at LA. Do you like C? Thank you for the answer. Much appreciated. Okay. I answered. Okay, cool. I know he can strike out 10, but like we just did a deep dive into Christian Javier, and like his whiff rate isn't as what it used to be in 2022. So I don't know if like we really want to expect him to go out and strike out 10 with his whiff rate down so much. The fastball not doing as much as it needs to. And like again, like a good fastball is gonna set up the change. All right, Reds and Dodgers, 8 total. Dodgers a huge 290 favorites. We'll look at Nick Martinez just because it's a 5-game slate, but if Will was here, he'd give us a quick no. It sounds like Nick Martinez is not going to pitch too deep here. Like he hasn't been pitching deep anyway. So don't play him by any means. Don't play him. Just not a good pitcher anymore. He has done a good job this year of limiting barrels. Good for him. When you're coming out of the bullpen doing 1 or 2 innings and you're limiting barrels, that's great. But starting here, throwing 4 or 5 innings, he's a fly ball guy against the Dodgers. I don't want to do that. Only generating 30% ground balls this year, a lot of fly balls. Hard hit rate has been down a little bit, but again, he's been pitching in the bullpen a lot. So, I mean, when you come in and you can just kind of throw your best stuff for an inning or two, it's way different than starting. I didn't pitch out of the bullpen very often. I can't think of many times off like the top of my head I pitched out of the bullpen very often. But anyway, the other side of this game, we got Tyler Glasnow. Obviously, Glasnow, the best pitcher on the slate by a very, very large margin. 35% Ks on the season, 27% whiff rate, 13% swinging strike rate. And his swinging strike rate has been trending in the right direction too. So like his whiff rate and his swinging strike rate was down a little bit to start the year, but they're both trending in the right direction. Glasnow has just been fantastic, and he gets one of the best strikeout matchups in baseball here against the Reds. So looking at the Reds lineup against right-handed pitching this season, obviously Will Benson, 42% Ks, Ellie De La Cruz, 34% Ks, Stevenson, 25%, Fraley, 23%, Candelario, 33%. India got scratched. We'll see if he's back in there. They called a couple young guys up, and they might crack the lineup. But either way, we're playing Tyler Glasnow today. I'm not playing Reds. I love playing the Reds. I'm not playing them on the slate. I probably only make 1 to 3 lineups on the slate. So I won't play the Reds today. If you are brave enough and you think Tyler Glasnow is not going to dominate this team, which is silly, variance is a thing in baseball for sure, but it just doesn't set up that way, by not even like closely set up that way. So, yeah, I mean, really, really game theory leverage. Sure. I get that, but yeah. Dodgers bats, love the Dodgers bats, right? Just, I mean, it's a phenomenal spot here against fly ball Nick Martinez. Won't pitch deep into the game, so we're gonna definitely get some bullpen in there. But Mookie Ohtani, Freeman, Teoscar, Muncy, Andy Paez, like all these guys, they're just gonna tee off on him here. I mean, Gavin Lux, Outman, they're all in play as well if you go cheap. So I mean, love the Dodgers in this spot. I will say, like, Will Smith is a phenomenal hitting catcher. It's really hard for me to pay for him right now. Like, his ISO is way down this year. He only has 4 home runs, only 4 home runs. His just power is way down. He's getting hits. He's getting on base. He's scoring 10, 15 fantasy points, but like 5,200 for a catcher is criminal. I would prefer Real Muto over Smith, like if I'm paying up for a catcher on the slate. But I mean, there's a reason that I punt a catcher all the time. Just try to find that like cheap catcher that has that pop. Overall, love the Dodgers in this spot. I think it's a great spot for them. Let's play the morning grind game. If you appreciated the plate IQ breakdown, you got inside my head on looking at inside the pitcher to try to figure out what's going on with pitching too. So, yeah, I mean, I hope the show was helpful. These solo podcasts, like they always make me like, I hope people like them. I do. So if you do like it, comment below on the YouTube comments, and we appreciate the comments, we appreciate the likes, and subscribe. I mean, we are growing the morning grind channel. Like that's not like my goal by any means, but I appreciate everyone hanging out with us. And I think like anybody's goal is to try to make things better. So I always appreciate it. All right. We got under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I mean, I think like Christian Javier is like the chalk like answer here. But after like looking into him more, like it really scares me. So kind of going back to Cooper Criswell, and I'm going to say Cooper Criswell against Tampa is where I go with my under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I think he is like an excellent pivot in tournaments today off of Christian Javier. Like I think because you want to play Glasnow or Jones. So like if you go Glasnow, Criswell, I think a lot of people like I think the chalk build. And like I don't have ownership up in front of me or projected ownership, so I think the chalk build today is Glasnow Javier because he's facing Oakland. But I really think that like Glasnow Criswell is a fantastic tournament pivot today. Criswell is no joke, man. He has some strikeout stuff for sure. Over 8K to score under 15. There's only 3 options. I mean, I think all 3 of these guys potentially get over 15. If I had to pick one, it'd probably be Little. And I mean, I think he does get over 15. Over 4K to hit a home run today. Try not to go to my Dodgers here. And give me Yordan Alvarez. I'm waiting for it to happen. I know it's going to come. I know he's going to have a big game. He's a little bit cheaper than Kyle Tucker. Give me Yordan Alvarez to go yard today. Under 4K to get 2 hits. My boy, Willie Calhoun. He had a day. He had a good game on Wednesday. Like one of the bright spots of my lineup on Wednesday. But it wasn't saying much. It wasn't. There wasn't much bright spots. Under 4K to get 2 hits after all that. I feel like I talked it up way too much here. Gosh, I kind of want to chase the home run under 4K today more than the 2 hits. So you guys usually give me a pass if I get a home run instead of 2 hits. So give me DJ Stewart at 3,200 against Walker here. Stack to score 6 or more runs. I mean, listen, Houston and LA definitely like my 2 favorite stacks on this slate. But if you want to get a little different today, give me Philadelphia against Jose Quintana to get the job done. Any player props or pick'em plays that I like here? Oh, I love Sosa. Why didn't I say Sosa? Oh, see, I even wrote down Sosa on my sheet for under 4K to get 2 hits, and I forgot to say it. Oh, Derek saving the day. Sosa, I wrote him down like as we were breaking down that game, and then I kind of stopped writing stuff down as we were going, and I forgot to even look at my sheet. But Sosa is who I wrote down for that answer. So, any player picks or pick'em plays? I'm quickly looking. Oh, I like this one. Tajon Walker under 4.5 strikeouts here at plus 105. You can get this over there on DraftKings right now. So Tajon Walker under 4.5 strikeouts at plus 105. I like that a lot. Kind of going back to that game. And Tajon Walker, just not a huge strikeout guy in general. Why can't I find that game? Oh, it's right here. So Tajon Walker, again, under 20% Ks this season, swinging strike rate under 8%, whiff rate under 18%. Tajon Walker, he's hit under in 2 of his first 3 starts, and one of those starts was against Miami. This is not a huge strikeout team. Like, obviously, JD Martinez adds some strikeouts here. If Joey Wendell cracks the lineup, he adds some strikeouts. But like, this is a 18 to 20% strikeout team, so I'm gonna go under strikeouts on Tajon Walker. As far as the lines on this slate, nothing like jumping off the page to me. Um, what? Oh, hold on. I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna really quickly pull up my app here, Hard Rock app, and find baseball. See, I usually like I have someone hosting with me, but oh man, I can't even do that because the line for the Dodgers game's not up. So it doesn't matter. So nothing jumping off the page to me. I was gonna say I'd be interested to see what kind of odds we get if we go Houston Dodgers money lines. I like doing that sometimes, and I think that this is a spot you could definitely do it. But yeah. So that's gonna wrap it up. Appreciate everyone hanging out. Nice little 5-gamer here. Back with Will tomorrow as our typical Friday show. Hope everyone enjoys some golf. And yeah, back tomorrow. Good luck, everyone. We'll see you then.